The following program is produced by the AM First Radio Network and distributed by Global American Broadcasting, the GAB Radio Network.
Thank you for tuning in for this edition of Justice Watch with Attorney Zulu Ali. I am Attorney Zulu Ali with the Justice Watch crew, Rosa Nunez, Michael Bilal Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Andrea Rodeman. This week, like every week, we'll be discussing critical legal and social justice issues that are impacting our community. Today, we actually will be talking about the Brittany Yvette Griner situation, and we'll be also talking about the charging of the police officers in the Breonna Taylor matter. Now, Brittany Yvette Griner is played for the Phoenix Mercury of the Women's National Basketball Association, and is currently in prison in Russia. She played college basketball for the Baylor Lady Bears in Waco, Texas. She is the only NCAA basketball player to both score 2,000 points and block 500 shots. In 2012, the three-time All-American was named the AP Player of the Year and the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Griner is one of 11 women to receive an Olympic gold medal, an NCAA championship, an FIBA World Cup gold medal, and a WNBA championship. She was selected to the 2009 Phoenix Mercury All-American basketball team. In 2012, she received the Best Female Athlete at the ESPY Awards, and in 2013, Griner signed an endorsement deal with Nike. She's 6'9", and she wears a man's U.S. size 17 shoe and has an arm span of 87.5 inches. Griner was on the United States women's basketball team in 2016 and led them to victory at the Rio Olympics. And in 2020, Griner protested the Star-Spangled Banner and stated that she would not be on the court while the national anthem was played during game openers. In 2021, Griner was named to the United States women's national team for the 2020 Olympics, where she won her second gold medal. In February 2022, Griner was detained by Russian customs after cartridges containing hashish oil were found in her luggage, and later arrested on drug charges. She had been entering Russia to play with the Russian Premier League during the WNBA offseason. Her trial began on July the 1st, and she pled guilty to the charges. And on August the 4th, she was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Now, she was detained at the airport, and the Federal Security Service found that she was carrying a vaporizer, cartridges containing, again, like I said, the hash oil. She had been prescribed medicinal cannabis in Arizona, and it is illegal in Russia. Some U.S. officials have expressed concern that Russia may be using her as leverage in response to the Western sanctions imposed against Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. And on May the 15th, it was reported that the United States and Russia would consider a prisoner swap with Russia exchanging Griner for international illegal arms dealer Victor Bout, who has served 10 years of a 25-year federal prison sentence in the United States. So here we got Miss Griner, who, 9 years for hashish oil. That's significant. Now, one of the questions that I have with regards to what happened, at least from our perspective in the U.S., why isn't that we didn't do more, or would we have done more had it been someone else that had actually been taken into custody by Russia? Let's just say it was, a senator's son or a congressman's daughter or somebody that happens to be, well known or with some sort of prestige or clout. Would it have been a different story? She's been in custody for a significant period of time. We basically have taken a hands-off position with regards to what has transpired. And really, we haven't heard much from our political officials or from our officials at all regarding, what has actually happened. Now, do we feel like that? Does that sound unusual? Would we expect something like that to happen? With regards to a U.S. citizen who has been taken into custody because of, hash oil, and and getting 9 years in prison, which I think, I don't know how their sentencing guidelines work. I don't know whether there's a minimum or a maximum, or how that actually aligns with what they're able to do. But that does seem, extremely steep. And it also seems that she had actually been in custody, for a very long time during this process. It seemed like it had been very, very long time that she's been in custody. So, my question is, you know, do you think she had been treated differently if she had been someone else? That's my question. I mean, and I'm talking about from our perspective from the United States.
I think so.
Of course.
I think so. And the sentencing guidelines is they can receive anywhere from 0 to 10 years. And so they gave her 9.
Mm-hmm.
The max was 10.
Right.
And I think that, of course, it would have been treated a lot different. I mean, we can bring race in it. We can bring all sort of different scenarios in it, especially looking at, other previous cases and stuff like that Russia had to deal with. That person probably would have been out of prison a long time ago, probably would have never stepped foot in prison.
Yeah.
But I think that there's definitely, they definitely would have treated someone else totally different.
Now, I mean, Russia would have been treated somebody different, but what about, Rosa, what about the United States? Do you think the United States would have treated the situation differently? Do you think they would have been a little bit more aggressive about the way that they addressed, her detention by the Russian officials and the prolonged detention that she experienced?
I think so. I mean, she's somebody that's prominent, but not too prominent. I mean, she's also a minority. She's black. She's a person that identifies as gay. So she's a minority. She belongs to a few minority groups within the United States. I think that had she not been in that position, I think that the United States would have been more active in really pursuing freedom for her. But I also think that she's being used as a political pawn.
Absolutely.
By the Russian regime. We talk about when she was arrested, and she was arrested right before they invaded Ukraine. They already knew that they were going to go to war with Ukraine, and they detained her. And she's been detained, and I think it's also this idea that the Russian regime is losing field with their own people in their propaganda, because people are starting to see that Russia doesn't care about their people as much as they said they did, right? So this is a perfect counter argument for saying, well, here's the Western world telling you that Russia doesn't care about their people, but look at this person that we have here. The U.S. hasn't even fought for them. So they, too, don't treat their people fairly and equally. So why are they complaining about what we're doing in Ukraine? So that's where I think she's definitely in an instance being used as a political pawn by the Russian regime.
Yeah, we're not doing enough, though.
What do you think, Andrea?
I was just going to say, I just don't think that we're doing enough. And I think that if it would have been, a family member of Biden or someone, in a political platform, that they wouldn't have even seen prison like that. And I'm not from she doesn't have any priors or anything like that. She's not a threat. It was not anything major. So, I don't understand why we didn't hop on this sooner than we did. But again, like you said, I don't think that she would have seen any of this time if it would have been a different situation. She's not important enough.
Oh, well, what is it that we could have done? I mean, what would we do? I mean, I guess that's the question. I mean, she goes into, is it too early for me to be a devil's advocate?
Nope.
Huh?
Never.
So let me just be devil's advocate. Okay, so she goes into a foreign country, clearly violating a law of that particular country, and she gets caught, not in the United States, but in the country which she freely went to. why is it that, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to say that if you get caught in another country and violate their laws, then because you're from the United States, nothing should be done? I mean, how do we deal with that? How do we rectify? How do we address that issue?
I mean, those issues should be addressed equally across the board. The young lady that you sent Bilal, that you sent the text about, how was it that she only, what did she get? What was her whole demographic?
What she spent, I think it was like 2 months, two weeks or 2 months.
Tell everybody what's going on so that the people listening can understand.
Audrey something or another.
So what you're saying is, so that we put it in context, is that there was someone else who actually, according to, I guess, a news report that you saw, had been convicted of something similar. However, they were giving a significant less time for the exact same thing.
She actually got caught with, I believe it was like 15 grams, 17 grams of marijuana. I believe she's only spent either two weeks or 2 months in prison, and then she was fined like $375 and basically sent back to the United States.
Exactly.
Whereas opposed, she was 19-year-old.
Was she a U.S. citizen?
Yep.
Yeah, she was a U.S. citizen. Yeah. So,
for a radio show but have no idea where to start? Or have you been hosting a podcast for a while and want to take it to the next level? If so, you need the Gab Radio Network. To host a show on the Gab Radio Network, all you need is your voice, and we'll handle the rest. From technical engineering to full-service audio production and much more. Every show on the Gab Radio Network can be heard on our station on the TuneIn Radio app. Plus, we put all of our shows on our satellite, which is accessed by over 5,500 stations. And here's the best part. You can host from anywhere you want. There are many means to connect to the Gab Radio Network remotely, and our staff of highly trained engineers and producers will make you sound like you're right here in studio. So, if you want to be on the Gab Radio Network, the same network that hosts the Small Business Advocate, Radio MD, and The Federalist, send an email right now to sales@gabradionetwork.com. That's sales@gabradionetwork.com.
Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands. Serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
Welcome back to Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali and the Justice Watch crew. We're continuing with our discussion on the Brittany Griner situation. So yeah, let's just go back to that, to what we were talking about. Now, the question is, did we do enough on our part? Now, again, and we also before that we talked about the issue about her being in another country, and the fact that she's in another country and that she, clearly did something that is in violation of the law of that particular country. So, keeping that in mind, keeping in the fact that you've gone to a different country, what would you expect for the U.S. to do? That's the question, Rosa. What should we do if she got caught in another country violating the law? What is it that we should have done?
Defend our citizens, right? That's what we're seen as people that we do. That's why America is so famous in the world, because we actually go out there and fight for our citizens wherever they are. But nothing has been done about this. We haven't even talked about possibly trading someone that's Russian that's in our American prison system. That's something that just came up because there's actually groups of activists advocating for this. But we hadn't done it before.
But I think that if America don't treat its citizens right, I don't think you can expect them to, treat this situation no different, because they haven't treated black people incarcerated over here no different.
Right.
And so therefore we can't look at it as being something that's a big old surprise that they're not doing anything whatsoever. Now, if we didn't have no cases that we can compare to this, then that would be one thing. But the fact that we do have a case that we can compare to this, that means that justice should be applied across the board. But justice is not applied across the board. But to ask the question whether or not the United States, what they could do or what they should do, their response to it is only in accordance with what they've been doing in the past with African Americans in this country.
So basically, since we don't have any, we're not cared about here in our own country, why should Russia find any value in us if they don't? If we don't? Yeah, because shoot, there's people over here who need help.
Yeah.
And we're not doing nothing for our own citizens here.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't know. Well, you gonna say something, Rosa?
No, I think that it's really complex too, because I think that this is also, because there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation out there about this topic. And I think that the agenda that the Russian regime is pushing is that obviously the U.S. is a country where its citizens are treated unfairly, right? And at an international level, at the UN Security Council, what we've been saying and criticizing Russia for is for treating its own citizens unfairly, but also its citizens unfairly when they go to war. So us even talking about the matter of fact that it's true that the U.S., only stands up for a certain race of people, for a certain people, definitely also helps the Russian regime propaganda in expressing to their own people that the West is a divided country and it's a failing empire. And I think it shows in the fact that Russia is pushing the United States, right, to cut a deal with them to bring back, I think his name is Viktor Botit. He's a Russian national that's arrested in U.S. soil. And he was arrested as a major league bad guy for providing weapons to international terrorists and conspiring with them to kill Americans. He was interviewed about 2 weeks ago, and he said, "I'll get back to Russia. I don't know when, but I'm still young. Your empire will collapse, and I'll get out of here."
But now
these are the words of the prisoner that the Russian regime is trying to get out of U.S. soil in return for Brittany
and Paul, Wheaton.
Yeah. They're asking for a second one now. They're asking for a convicted murderer that used to be a former colonel of theirs as well. So they're asking for 2 for 1 as of right now.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, okay, there's a couple of things. First of all, clearly, all right, let me get off the devil's advocate. Clearly, the fact that I clearly believe that had it been someone else, we would have addressed it a lot differently than we have. As far as the real, let's just be frank about it. The fact that she's black. That's the real issue. You know, there's really nothing, you know, I think as far as her, you know, I don't think it's just because she's black, and the fact that you had someone who, whether they're high profile or not, I think is completely irrelevant. I mean, you know, with regards to how the United States should act when you have someone who is on foreign soil and being charged with something like what she's being charged with. I guess the bigger issue is going to be, I mean, just how, what would the United States, what should the United States have done in a situation like that? And had it been someone else, what should they do? I mean, obviously they should have actually done this a long time ago. I mean, as far as trying to trade her for one of their prisoners or try to, you know, what did they, I mean, she had a very prolonged detention. And not to mention that there was a significant period of time that we didn't even hear from her.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there was a period where nobody knew where she was. We didn't know whether she was living. We didn't know anything like that. And then you had like in most cases, other people get involved and you know, they put you under the microscope. Then all of a sudden, then we're concerned about really what's going on. So, you know, my whole thing with regards to the way that she was treated in this situation, and again, you know, let's just say when we talk about the issue of race, you know, it's like there they go again. You know what I mean? They always make everything, you know, a black and a white issue. I mean, that's what we hear, and I'm sure that, you know, the devil's advocate is going to say that, right? That it's really not about race. It's not really about color. What does that really have to do with it? But it has everything to do with
Absolutely.
it, right? And, you know, I guess this is kind of an opportunity to kind of address the bigger issue and maybe fall back to what we often talk about when it comes to the issue of color in this country. I mean, it amazes me how, you know, I was doing jury selection the other day in a trial, and the question was asked of this lady about biases. And she literally said that, you know, there are people, she had no biases. That's what she said. I mean, ultimately, she was kicked off the jury, not because of cause, but because, you know, I didn't want her there. But I'd said that basically that the danger of racism and the danger of biases is when we don't acknowledge that we all have them.
Yes. Yes.
That's where it becomes, you know, and that's always been the danger, that we don't want to recognize, just like that situation, like, you know, the T.O. situation. I don't know if anybody's seen the Terrell Owens situation where he was, you know, while the lady says, you know, I'm a white woman being approached by a black man.
You got out of your
You know what I'm
car.
saying? I mean, it's just it amazes me, and it takes me back, because in many ways I think that we are. Maybe I see it more, but I think we're is just as racist, if not more racist, than we were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's just amazing to think that. And I can tell you this, people, I'm just amazed at how racist our society really is.
You're amazed?
I'm amazed.
I'm not.
It absolutely amazes me
I mean, it's,
that people are that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I felt like, you know, I'm just shocked. I mean, that is that blatant, and that you know, we think it's like a little bit, but it's a big bit. Right?
Yeah.
But at any rate, we'll holler at you on the other side of the break.
There's a new nationally syndicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host Attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with Attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com. Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep Your Hand on the Plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands, serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
Welcome back to Justice Watch with Attorney Zulu Ali, which we'll get to later on. But before we went to the break, I think it's important, does it really matter? Does it really matter that we blow the horn over and over again about racism in this country? Does it really matter? And ultimately in the final analysis, what do we do about it? I mean, how do we deal with it, right? I have my own idea about how to deal with it. I mean, obviously, I feel like that. Although I said before when we talked, I said, it sets me back about how racial, we really are. And then you say, well, am I really surprised? Yeah, I am surprised because, like I said, it's more obvious. To me, I feel like it's more obvious now than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like people feel like the climate, like what you heard that lady say when she was, in the TO situation.
Right.
What made her think that was okay? Huh?
She's a white woman.
I mean, what in the world would make any rational thinking human being to say something like that out loud?
Because the way society have learned to expect someone that screams like that and their response to it.
Specifically a white woman.
Exactly.
Who was not afraid, by the way, because if she was that afraid, she would have never approached this big black man in the first place.
Let me give you a scenario. Let's just say you work for, a manufacturing company. And let's just say that you work for a manufacturing company that is owned and operated by a black man, right?
Okay.
And let's just say you get an order, and the order says that you have to produce. You're the manager, right? And you have to produce a certain number or a certain product or something within a certain period of time, and you didn't do it, right?
Okay.
And let's just say that boss yelled at you for not completing or not, meeting the quota or the expectations of the business. What would race come to your mind?
No, I don't think no race would come to your mind.
Who?
But where you going with this?
I'm just
Wait a
saying.
minute,
Let me just tell you.
wait,
Okay.
Where you going with this? It's
Okay.
the trick one right here.
No, it's not.
So this is my
Now
boss.
let's just say he's a black boss.
Okay.
You didn't do what you're supposed to do, and the black boss went off on you.
Went off on me as a black man.
Yeah.
I mean, a black woman. Sorry.
See, you said it. You said it, man. Right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right. So he goes off on you, and because you wasn't doing your job, right? And he happens to be a black man. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can assure you that a significant number of people who worked in that company would relate his response to being an angry black man.
The boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think
They say he's a black guy. He goes off.
He's aggressive.
That's what
He's-
black men do.
Yeah,
I can
angry
see
black
that.
man.
scared.
I can
You
see
see what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, I can see
I
that,
wouldn't.
yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Look
But-
at that
but
that way.
people
But
would do that.
People would
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Now, let's just happen to say, say what
Now
he
I
did.
get it.
He's not black. Let's just say he's a white boss,
Okay.
and he goes off. Do you think people would be less offended or allegedly fearful of what happened?
Yes.
Yes,
Now-
because he's just trying to follow corporate rules,
Right.
Yeah.
corporate protocol. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But he
can do
wouldn't be an
that.
angry white man.
No.
I've never heard that. You know what? When you said it, that sounded so foreign to me. I've never heard of that.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So that's clearly the way it works. I mean, it's just like, for example, where every human being that has a point where I'm really a calm person for the most part. I'm a pretty much laid back, calm person. I'm a very passionate person, right? And I'm a very animated person. Now, there is, and let's just say this. So let's just go back to that scenario. Let's just say it happens to be a white female who gets fired by the black man as a result of that.
Oh, she's going to HR.
She's going to say that she was fearful, right?
Yes.
That it's a hostile work environment. Huh?
The tears are coming.
Am I lying?
No,
to
Tears
you?
are coming. She's going
You
straight
see what
to
I'm saying?
HR. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's how they, get. Let me give you another example. And I'm going to go back to that because this is something that I saw. I saw a police officer pull over a black judge for speeding. I mean, a white judge for speeding. He pulled over the white judge. The white judge gets out of the car and goes off on this officer.
Yeah.
He said, "You need to check his tag and figure out who I am, and
Exactly.
you need to hurry up and figure it out." Did you see that?
I saw that. I
Right?
saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
Now-
see that.
There's no issue there. He let him go.
He let him go.
Now, I can assure you that if that was a black judge, it would have came out a different way. There would have been consequences for a black judge to get out of a car, to approach an officer, even if he was a judge. He would have seen that as an opportunity, and we would have said, you know what, he should have stayed in the car.
stayed in the
He
car.
shouldn't have acted that way. You see what I'm saying? You
But
know,
the black judge would have known not to even do that, though.
Who?
The black judge would have known not
Well,
to
I'm
even
just
do
saying
that.
that if he-
You know what I'm saying? Like
Well-
the white judge he knew, like, oh, no, he had that boldness and that confidence that he was going to be straight.
well, they do it all the time because they feel like okay, let's just say they go and they don't get service. Let's say they go to a restaurant, or let's just go, they go to any business, they don't get no service, and let's just say they're gonna, all right, you don't do something right, and they say, let me go talk to the manager. They could go all up and down off on the manager, and would it ever be a discussion about that person being aggressive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Violent, or anything? They would figure out how to fix it. While because I've seen people just go off who happen to not be black that just be like way out of line.
Oh yeah.
When they call for the manager.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But let it be a black person, then he's angry. You see what I'm saying?
He or she.
You know, that is the, or she.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way that we're conditioned sometimes in this country to see things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even think it's even true. I don't think they feel that way. But like in a situation with T.O., she was playing the race card.
Absolutely.
See, they play the race card, but they play it a different way.
Yeah, she played the victim.
It's a
for
different
real.
type of race card that they play.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you happen to be an employee, you know what always comes to my mind? There's a movie that it took me years to watch. I never could get past when Jada Pinkett was robbed in the bank. You remember that? And they took the boss took her back and said, "You know him?" You remember that?
Yeah. I think I
Set It Off.
Set It
When
Off.
Vivica Fox was taken in the
Who was
it
that?
was
Wasn't
Vivica Fox was taken in the back.
Yeah,
Jada was in it. Yeah, Jada was in it.
But she
because-
wasn't the bank teller?
Are
you sure about that?
Yeah, it was Vivica Fox
I
because
think you got that wrong.
you want to put money on it? Let's put money on
Okay,
it.
but anyway. So she's taken back, and then the guy's like, do you know him? See, she was interrogated.
Yeah. And she was
Says,
afraid.
well, I knew him around the way. I didn't really
Yeah.
know what was going on, blah, blah, blah. And she got in trouble for that. I never could get past that scene for you. It took me, I just watched Set It Off probably about 2 years ago.
Wow.
I could never get past that point because it was so real to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because had that had been somebody, and I know it's a movie, it's a script.
Yeah, but that's real.
But it's real because had it been someone else who happened to not been black, and the same thing happened. Let's just say it was Karen.
Yeah.
And the dude that robbed, his name is Billy.
Right.
Right? And she says, yeah, I knew Billy at the tractor pool. You know what I mean? I remember at the tractor pool, he used to come in. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I seen him at the rodeo a couple of times.
Yeah.
Then they would say, okay, Karen, we'll appreciate you. Think you might be able to identify him again? Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Yeah.
But because she said I seen him around the way, it was a complete, and that's the way.
Co-conspirator.
That's the way that they play you, whether you're a boss or whether you're an employee.
Absolutely.
They're gonna play you that way because that's how they play.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's so ingrained in the way they do things, but it's not. We're not playing the race card, right?
Mm-mm.
You see what I'm saying? I just basically, I'm sitting at the table.
Yeah.
And you're playing the race card. It's just that basically I'm calling it out.
Exactly.
You see what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's amazing, man. It amazes me. I'm in this. I was in this jury trial, and I'm trying to explain this, to the judge about how a all-white jury or non-black jury is unfair to a black defendant. Right? You don't understand that. Well, you understand it, but you don't want to understand it.
Exactly.
You see what I
Yeah.
mean? And so,
Because there's no bias.
well, that's what he thinks. Like the lady
Well,
just
that's
said that
what
there
he
is no such
says.
thing as bias. But, of course, you're biased.
Yeah. but
You
that-
real biased.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Colorblind racism is a thing.
Huh?
Colorblind racism is a
Right?
thing.
Exactly. All right, please do not touch that dial. We'll be back with Justice Watch on the other side of the break.
There's a new nationally syndicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com. Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep Your Hand on the Plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands. Serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
I'm sorry.
I thought I was talking about something else. But I mean, it kind of falls back. I mean, it's kind of the thing that really falls back on really what's happening really in especially in the Griner case. I think that kind of, you know, it's like, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's so obvious, but you can always, you know, make it seem a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's clearly when you see it, you know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's so much ingrained, you know, into our society. And they got us, like, they got us thinking, you know, it's almost like the pimp game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how, you know, you got you know, the way that a pimp, you know, the pimp's world is reality to the prostitute.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, the pimp game is a way that they deal with us in society as black folks.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we sometimes, you know, they got us thinking, well, maybe, you know, like whenever, you know, you take, like, you know, daddy's taking all your money. Right? And then, you know, but then daddy say, well, he's doing it because I'm trying to take care of you. Right? And then you're like, oh, okay, daddy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
that's it. That's
I mean,
it.
it's the ultimate pimp game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know, But you know, and that's how they get your head. It's like, why am I giving you my money?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to make you happy, so I'm gonna give you my money, and you ain't really giving me nothing, but you got me believing that I can't survive without you.
Right.
Correct.
And that's
Yeah.
that's your reality is centered around, you know, the pimp's world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, until you become, you know, emancipated
Yeah.
mentally,
And
and you're like,
yeah.
man, you know, I gave him all my money, and he had me convinced that he was doing something for me, and he wasn't. And that's the same thing when we look at that. It's just that's not reality for us. I mean, you know, we're you know, for some of us it is. I mean, they're going to argue that, hey, she shouldn't have been over there, you know, with it anyway. Ain't that right, Rosa? Huh?
Yep.
They should have said, hey, she shouldn't have been over there with that stuff, and now she's in, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she knew better than that, going on over there, messing with them folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that it's, you know, the real picture is that they didn't care about her.
No.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
They really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can just tell you right now. I mean, when they said they didn't know, they hadn't heard from her in such a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, so she over there, they ain't heard from her. She could have been dead,
Anything. Right.
and we didn't even really care.
Yeah.
You know what was happening. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like she went over there and she committed a murder. You know what I mean? Or she robbed a bank or she did something. She had a vaporizer.
Yeah. A prescribed
Right.
vaporizer.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, they're treating it pretty hard. We don't even keep people. We imprison more people than Russia do.
Oh yeah.
You more likely to go to prison in America than you are in Russia.
Exactly.
So you mean she get not that they keeping her indefinitely in custody for a charge like that? Huh?
That's crazy.
I mean, the fact that they even held her. I mean, she should have been out kicking it until she went to trial,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then went in there and
Right.
just said, yeah, you know, I had a little bit of something,
Yeah.
right, and then let her go.
Yeah.
Right. Because it wasn't a lot of bit.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But
So
it's our internal flaw, and it's what's going to make us fall as an empire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
But do you think if she never had no basketball career, no status, you think that we would even hear from her in the news?
no,
No.
because ain't no black folks
Probably
going to
not.
Russia unless they play basketball.
Right. Right. What we over there for? Got to pay me to go over there. Shoot, for what?
Ain't no black people going to
There's
Russia.
nothing over there for us.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, there's a few black people over there. There's some over there, you know. But, you know, I would hope so,
Yeah.
you know, that we would pay attention. I think that we would I mean, the reality of it is, I think that for many people in this country or the right-thinking people, I think we would be concerned about it. But I think where you're right about it is, you wouldn't get maybe the media coverage. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, it would be difficult for us to even know that somebody was even in a situation like
Right.
that.
Right.
You know, if they were not, you know, if they didn't have, you know, were able to, you know, garner that type of attention.
Yeah.
Right.
So she was able to do that and had people who were, you know, clearly with somebody with that type of, I mean, she's not, you know, I mean, she has had a stellar basketball career.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a great basketball player. I mean, she got the best female in 2012, the best female athlete at the ESPY Awards. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, but you know, they're treating her like, you know, not to say that she should be treated better because of that, but I'm just saying that if status was an issue, then clearly race is an issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially in light of what she's accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that in those types of cases, I believe that they also ask whether or not, you know, does she have any priors? Because that comes into to play. But I think because it's in another country, that's not going to take. I mean, you can say I've been shining all this time, and this was just a hiccup, you know, in my life. And I don't think over there they're going to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
They just going to look at it as basically like you violated the law. Period. You know. So. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that basically, to the extent that there is significant injustice in what they've done to her, or what they're doing to her and what they have done to her. I mean, there's all kinds of, I mean, I know that we got sanctions on them and stuff like that, but man, you know, let's just say that it was a diplomat, or let's just say it was Joe Biden's son. I mean, we would have, you know, the military over there doing covert operations to take them out. Right? What if it was George Bush? Where's George Bush when you need him? Because I know George Bush would have went over and got him. I could hear him right now, threatening him. Right? He give him a timeline. He
Absolutely.
said, you got the sundown.
Yeah.
Right?
But I tell you, Donald Trump would have traded them prisoners already. He would have gave them back real quick. Them 2 Russian prisoners, he would have gave them back real quick.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He would have gave them back real quick.
Oh, so we're going to have to give Donald Trump some credit right now?
I refuse.
Because that's his boy. Because, you know, that's the only thing
I was going
about
to say,
it.
that I don't know.
He could have got on the phone and just said, hey, man, you know.
Release.
He tweeted him and texted him or whatever and got him gone, got her out of there. Yeah. You know.
Make a deal real quick, keep it on the down low.
Yeah, I'm not going to make no really bad president jokes right now about Biden. Right, because I've heard some really terrible stuff about him, man.
Yeah.
You know, like Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my God.
That's terrible.
That's horrible.
I don't co-sign that. That's my disclaimer. I don't co-sign that. But people say stuff like that, right?
Yeah, they do.
You know.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing, Joe? Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah. And then we think about those just so we can, because I know we get really.
He cut you off.
It's over.
Like it's over? Not a break?
My goodness, that's way too fast.
I blame Rosa.
Well, anyway, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, same channel. And until that time, stay blessed.
There's a new nationally syndicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com.
You're on board KCAA's